Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Accountant. It is August the 25th, Bank Holiday Monday, so we're expecting it to be relatively quiet in the comments. So if you are watching live, please say good morning so we know you are there. And welcome to Ask the Accountant, and as per usual, I am joined by my fellow co-host, Mr. Aaron Patrick. Aaron, you are not in your office. Where are you today?
I'm on holiday, Norfolk today. We're right next to the beach. In fact, I've got my window open. I can hear the sea crashing against it. So it's been lovely, absolutely lovely. And
Lovely.
just before we go any further, have you moved your room around, or is the camera flipped? Because at the moment the things are on the other side.
I think the camera's flipped.
You've not been hard at work moving your office around.
No.
Literally.
Is that better for you?
No, it's still flipped. It's fine. It's fine. It's just more. I was more intrigued if you've made any upgrades or updates to your
No, I've not had a chance to do any of that. But yeah, and it's a beautiful sunny day in Edinburgh, which must mean the Fringe is finished, the Edinburgh Military Tattoo is finished, Oasis and AC/DC are gone, and we can have our nice weather back. Yeah,
What was more manic, Oasis or Taylor Swift?
I'm going to argue Oasis. Like, I've never seen anything like it for Oasis.
Really?
It might be. It was just more obvious. Okay, so while you were in Edinburgh and Taylor Swift was up here, you knew who was going to Taylor Swift because of like the glittery hats and the waistcoats and stuff, right? But I don't think the majority of the audience wore that stuff. Whereas Oasis, everyone had like Oasis t-shirts, Oasis bucket hats. Like, it was just more apparent who was here to attend that show. So yeah, it's been a busy August for Edinburgh. So looking forward to a couple of quiet months before the Winter Festival and the Christmas market kick off. But yeah, and if you haven't seen the Military Tattoo, that's on at 8 o'clock tonight on BBC One. So I'll send them a invoice from a check for advertising that to the BBC later. But they were filming there the night we were there, so you could play Spot Johann.
Could be on telly.
Who knows? It could be on telly. Finally made it. But as always, we are nothing without our community. So let's say good morning to everybody. Kirsty, straight in there, 8:30 a.m. Saying good morning, everyone. Sunny here. Good to hear it in March, which is in Lincolnshire. It's not a month. Not to say Kirsty goes on about it a lot, but it is permanently scarred into my head now. Good morning from Sue. Sunny bank holiday here. Good morning to Natasha, the bookkeeper superhero. And good morning to Steph, the free bees. That is Steph, right?
Yeah, it is. I should mention she's launched her new community as well, hasn't she? So
yes, and had, from what I saw on social media, a fantastic day out or weekend. And she's just said, I'm recovering from Silverstone Festival. Historic F1 was incredible to witness in person. It looked like a great day out. Like, Instagram was just full of pictures from Steph over the weekend. Having a great time from what I could see. It's all good. It's always nice to have something to spend your bank holiday weekend on.
Sky had it on for like 8 hours at a time, an 8-hour stream. So that shows that they must.
I missed that.
They have a whole F1 channel, don't they, that had nothing to put on it. So they're probably quite great.
It's been a bit quiet for 3 weeks. Yeah. But what's important is not only does this bank holiday mark the end of the Fringe, the Military Tattoo, and normality coming back to Edinburgh, it marks, for England, most of the schools going back next week. So that normally means better weather as well. But it also marks 5 more days until the F1.
Yes.
The F1 is back. That's the important part. So yeah, it's a weekend I always look forward to, is this bank holiday. Brilliant. Okay, right. Well, what have you been up to in Norfolk? Or what have you got planned for Norfolk?
Well, we come home today, so not much more left. But yeah, because we've been on the beach, we've made the most of going to the beach with the puppy. We went to a dog show yesterday, which the puppy hated because there was other dogs there. Didn't think that one through. And yeah, no, just chilling, having, enjoying the sunshine. And everything. It's been lovely, absolutely lovely. So yeah, I mean the weather, it's blue skies out there, crashing against the sea. So what more do you want?
Excellent.
What more do you?
That's what we like to hear. I've spent the weekend testing the Xenon Engager integration. I mean, I've always felt we were fairly cutting edge, but this, like I repriced 20 clients in the space of half an hour yesterday because the information's all in there. It's like buff, 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 buff. Try and argue with me. I've got the insights. It's right here. I'm not even switching between windows. No manual data entry. So that was incredible. But just looking at your jobs cards and going, yeah, I'll deal with that one first. That's got a really poor health score. Like, incredible.
And the health score coming directly into Engager, right?
Yeah. Straight into that job card where it goes, oh, you need to do Bob's VAT return, and his health score is this. And then you can have as well on the job cards, like, let's say you're doing bookkeeping bank transaction job. You can go, oh, this is how many bank transactions they've got so in this current month or previous month or something. Oh, just, yeah. Although, unfortunately for Xenon, I have just sat down and come up with a whole new list of metrics that I want them to put onto their APIs. So I can then pull them into Engager and make it all even better. Because, it's always, you've opened a can of worms type thing there. But yeah,
remind me though, I know we're going off topic here. Remind me, 0 clients, you can see how many whatever their term is, unreconciled, I think their term is, isn't it? With free agent, you can't, and QuickBooks, you can't, right? Because that to me is like the key information. How many transactions haven't been dealt with in the bank, right?
Yes.
That's not a limitation of Xenon, is it?
That's also why Xenon don't display that information on their API in the first place, is the unreconciled bit, because not everyone does it.
Yeah.
So, and this is the bit where I think users are going to start realizing the limitations and how far up the chain this goes. Yeah. So I think we're all very good as accountants going, oh, well, why can't you put that information into this software?
Exactly right.
So Engager resyncs with Xenon every 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And Xenon resyncs with Xero, QuickBooks, and Free Agent every 2 to 3 hours. But any more than that, and the Xero API costs go through the roof. And so will QuickBooks eventually, because they're bringing in their new API costs later down the road. And then you've got to realize, you've got to think, oh, hang on, just because you can pull a certain amount of data from the Xero API, do we build that feature knowing that and try and have to explain to everyone, well, yes, you can see it on that client because they're with Xero, but you can't see it on that client because they're with QuickBooks? Or do you standardize the approach and go, these are the things that you can see across all 3 platforms, and for that reason, that is our limit?
Yeah.
So yeah, the chain effect of APIs is becoming frustrating, but also very interesting to realize how restrictive some APIs are. I know QuickBooks have promised to enhance their API further, but that takes time, and proof's in the pudding, isn't it, I suppose? But
well, I suppose they're more incentivized now, they can monetize it, isn't it? So, like anything, if you've got money behind it, or at least a increased revenue option, I hope, fingers crossed, that we see that, don't we? So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
But yeah, so no, just being able to see all my Kanban cards and all the health scores on them was really insightful. Several of my team have had emails saying, "What the hell?" like that client obviously can't do their own bookkeeping. Get it in house. Get it in now. So yeah, no, really, really exciting to see that. I mean, literally, it got released to me on Saturday night, Sunday morning for me to play with. So it's going to be a few weeks down the line before we're able to roll it out to the public. But it's looking really good. Really happy with it.
Nice.
So yeah, that's all good. Good morning to Paul, who joins us having a lazy bank holiday morning. That's why he's 8 minutes late. He's having a lazy bank holiday morning. Brilliant. Right. Not a huge amount of news, Aaron, but we found some juicy topics to talk about as normal. So the first one, I mean, your message threw me right off. Starling acquisition. It's like, oh, who's brought Starling? I instantly thought Starling Bank had been sold. It's like, oh, that £25 million AML fine hit them harder than I thought it would to sell up. But no, Starling have been spending money, whatever they've got left after the £25 million AML fine. So Starling have brought bookkeeping software Ember. Now, Ember is very much like it's a Mazuma style bookkeeping software. It was built by an accounting firm for their clients to use, and then they started rolling it out and making more and more publicly available. But kind of a lead generation tool for them to get low-cost clients in and ensure the clients were working within their parameters and their way because they're using their tool. So actually they could deliver a very efficient and cost-effective service. But yeah, I mean, what are I've not looked into how much they went for or anything like that. What I am aware of is HSBC are going to be livid because, as we reported not many months ago on this show, HSBC had just agreed a partnership with Ember to provide Ember to all HSBC business bank accounts.
Yep.
Which Starling now have visibility of all those businesses and can quite easily probably cross-sell to them. And we believe Revolut used to use them as well, or were using them at least at some point. So yeah, what is the deal structure here? What have they done?
I was just quickly, I can't find how much it went for, but what I do know is they've already stated that it's going to be exclusive. So there isn't any HSBC and HSBC clients, from what I can tell. They're just not going to be available to HSBC.
Turn that off.
Yeah. And also, Ember used to do, like you were saying about them being accounting firm, used to do accounting services as well as the software. So, thinking about it from an end user point of view, they could pay X amount per month and get not only the software, but the accounts done just like the Mazuma.
Yeah, it's like Crunch do the same thing, don't they? They have their own prerogative software, proprietary software, which if your business is using, then you get access to discounted Crunch services because it's so much more efficient for them to run it that way.
Exactly. And I feel like this is, to me anyway, this feels like, because Starling went on record to say that they basically had a choice. It was build their own or acquire. And obviously, looks like they've gone for the acquisition route. Makes sense. I feel like this is people starting to take note of the NatWest free agent deal. Feels like that a lot of people are thinking that they're going to be left behind if they don't offer that kind of relationship, that service, that integration. Because in theory, Starling could really, I mean, they've already got the benefit of having, a brand, relatively new challenger bank system where they've got POTS and all sorts of good quality solutions in there, right? I mean, this could easily be, like we said before, where you get your client to, and I use Starling on one of my businesses, and I can't pay someone without categorizing the transaction, for example, right? If I want to make a payment to someone, I have to say what it was for. I get prompted to take a photo. I've got all that sort of stuff built directly in my app. Like, I can't literally pay someone without categorizing it at that point. So your assumption is that this Ember software will have access to that, right? And it's going to be very similar to the Metal experience, where you're basically bookkeeping in your banking app, but the accountant or whoever has access to a much more, feature-rich solution. I don't know how far down the line they are in terms of, a quality bookkeeping product, but I'd imagine they're enough down the line to get people excited. Otherwise, this deal wouldn't have gone in the first place, right? HSBC wouldn't have been interested. And that Revolut one is a bit weird because I thought Revolut had their own bookkeeping-esque solution that there was a subscription-based model around something, wasn't there, that was there. So
Yeah.
they were obviously interested in one way or another. So yeah, it seems exciting, but I do feel like this is people going, that free agent deal's doing wonders for NatWest and their brand, and getting people interested and everything else that comes with it. My concern for the rest of the banks is who else is left to buy. Like, I mean, there's not much out there, is there, for bookkeeping software that you can acquire wholeheartedly?
Is this the exit plan for someone like Mazuma? Is the exit plan to build it to a point that actually someone like a bank would be interested in buying it and using it as their own technology for their business customers? I don't know.
A cheap acquisition, though, would it? That'd be a very expensive, because you're not just buying the software, you're buying the client base, the clients, the staff. Has the banks got appetite for that sort of acquisition? Because
they've got deep pockets.
Well, yeah, but is that the right? You know what I mean? Like, that just seems like a very, very costly. Stakeholders of banks are already nervous at the moment. I just don't know. I don't know. Have they got the appetite?
And that's the thing with like QuickBooks and Xero are just too big. Like, exactly. That's like someone going and buying Apple. It's not going to happen. Like, it's too big. Or buying Microsoft is just not a viable option. So yeah, you do need to look at the smaller players. Like, is that Counting Up's long-term plan? Is it, as I say, Mazuma? Is it Crunch bookkeeping software's plan? They're the kind of exits that because you're never going to be on the same stage and fighting alongside QuickBooks and Xero and Sage without doing that. Yeah. You hugely deep pockets. So maybe that is their exit plan. I don't know. But I mean, congratulations to the Ember team, because they've obviously built something to a degree that several banks have looked at and gone, yeah, we'll partner. And I wouldn't be surprised if HSBC's plans were, right, we'll partner for a year or two, then we'll buy them out. Because that's what Free Agent was. Like, Free Agent was partnered with RBS and NatWest for a while, and then they got acquired. Once that risk to NatWest and RBS of them going elsewhere was so high that they had no option but to buy out Free Agent. But yeah, I completely agree. I think this is Starling's attempt to counter the Metal Free Agent offering. I don't know if it's as much an attempt to counter RBS and NatWest, but definitely Metal, because I think Metal has been doing some damage to Starling, and this is all holistic. Like, there's no facts or figures to back any of that up. That's just my observations of the industry and social media and stuff. Is I think Metal probably have taken a chunk out of Starling recently, and one of the key arguments is, well, I get a free bank account and I get free bookkeeping software. Why wouldn't I go there? And they do pots, and Starling do pots, and yeah, it's just very similar like-for-like functionality. So it would be logical for Starling to go, right, we need to find a bookkeeping software. We need to build it ourselves. We need to do it pretty urgently. We haven't got time to build it ourselves. Let's go out and buy something.
Yeah, and how long has the Revoluts, the Starlings, the Tides, have they been trying to build their own? Because this isn't new news, is it? This has been like we were speculating the disruption of accounting software, and the end of what we know, sort of thing.
About 147 episodes ago, actually.
Yeah, exactly right. I just feel like the lessons haven't been learned, though, hasn't it? Because the only reason that we don't adopt it, and let give ourselves a pat on the back as bookkeepers, accountants, business advisors, whatever you want to call it, is like, what we do well is sell that software, because it's a selfish reasons for us, right? It makes our, like you were just saying there about scorecards and everything else. Like, that's what makes our practice more efficient now, isn't it? And you won't be looking at software now that doesn't give you those scorecards, doesn't interact with Xenon, because you'll be giving your clients a lesser experience. Even though, in theory, in reality, especially for MTD, them software should be dominating the talk there, right? Like the idea that you could be MDT compliant without leaving your bank, yes, please, makes sense to me, right? Like,
Yep.
but as accountants and bookkeepers, we're never going to push that because we don't get the accounting access. We don't get the APIs into our tax software, and there's so many reasons why we would go, actually, yeah, it might be a free option, but I'd pay £8 a month or £32 a month or 47, whatever the figure's going to be, because of all these bits that I get with it that actually makes it worthwhile, right? And I feel like those softwares, those banks, they need to start listening to accountants, bookkeepers, and we're the ones that can tell them where they're going right or wrong. And we've tried to have those conversations. They turn up to enough of the event industries, right? They're at Accountex, they're at DAS, they're at all those sort of things, but they don't seem to want to listen to us in terms of what we need from that software. So yeah, I feel like it is too little too late for them building their own, if that's what they want to go. And surely this is why Starling spent the money that they have.
Yeah, it gives them that jump start. I mean, Paul said it looks like Lloyd's seem to be releasing their own, but I wonder how late to the party that approach is. Yeah, but as Aaron says, it's probably going to be taking far too long. Like, you need to buy something off the shelf and plug it in, really.
Yeah.
And Sue says, I recommend metal and free agent to small traders. Starling charge for their business bank account, and no one can get a Starling account anymore. But yeah, the amount of people that I've had rejected by Starling, like brand new business, we need a year's trading history. It's like, okay, where do we go and bank for a year? Well, I'll go bank somewhere else and I won't be moving to you in a year's time because I'm already in with the bank. So yeah. I mean, as you say, it's all a play towards this whole MTD aspect of, because there is a huge amount of the market that don't use accountants and bookkeepers as small businesses and sole traders that are going to need some kind of MTD compliant bookkeeping software. So if the banks can facilitate that, then there's a revenue opportunity for them there, I'm sure, because they'll monetize it in some way. Yes, we've got free Ember banking, but actually, if you want to use that feature, that's a bolt-on. But there's monetization there to be had.
I mean, that's what Monzo do brilliantly, or not so brilliantly, depends on what side of the fence you're on. For their stakeholders, brilliantly. You can't even connect QuickBooks or Xero without paying a subscription. Yeah. Like, what? Like, you're sorry? You won't let me connect my bank. They make it a feature. Oh, you pay this subscription fee here and you get access to this real-time information to your QuickBooks or Xero license you've got to pay for anyway. It's like, what's going on? I did a bit of research, though. Well, I say I did. ChatGPT 5 did. ChatGPT 5 says, while the purchase price remains undisclosed, Bloomberg has reported the deal was worth less than £10 million. To give you a bit of a ballpark of what they were starting to pay. But for me, though, and it's a juggling act, right? And I can kind of understand from Starling's point of view where they don't know where to take it. But surely, like you were saying there about the MTD push, isn't the most attractive and most sensible bit is to keep the accountant option within that subscription? The idea that they could just have the Ember accounts team do your tax return for you. I mean, as accountants and bookkeepers, we're terrified of that, right? Like, because they'll just get the monopoly of Starling MTD clients going forward. But for them, that makes a lot of sense, right? That's surely a powerful play. And is it that they just don't want to upset the apple cart? Maybe, I don't know. It just is the bit I'm shocked about is that they were not going to continue to do the whole accounting side of things, because that, to me, is where this software always becomes interesting. Like you said, like Mazuma and Crunch and all that lot. The reason they're so good at what they do is because they've got the efficiency. It's end-to-end, isn't it? It's the Apple ecosystem argument all over again. When you own the hardware and the software, if you own the accountancy and the software, it's a match made in heaven, surely. But for whatever reason, this deal, and if it is 10 million, it's 10 million, but surely that should come with the accounting side as well. Strange, isn't it?
It's a bit of a bargain for Starling if it is that low.
You reckon?
Yeah, well, if you're the business owner, if someone turned around to you and said, all right, sell us your bookkeeping software that you spent a few years and probably a lot of money in resources, time, etc., developing.
Yeah.
We'll give you 10 million or less. And you've got to shut down your accounting firm. You know, that bit, that's a reoccurring revenue for you. Because after how many years do you start going, hang on a minute, I'm being shortchanged? Like, I go on the assumption there's some non-competes in there. That means they can't go and set up their own accounting firms and stuff again. Like, I mean, I understand they're staying on with Starling anyway. I'm sure I read that somewhere.
But maybe the accounting firm's been siphoned off. Maybe, I suppose that's what we don't know, do we? That is a possibility. Or maybe the accounting firm was never up for sale in the first place, right? And that's why Starling doesn't have it. But yeah, I don't know. We say 10 million could be a good deal, but we don't know how fleshed out the software is, right? And the fact that we've never even played with it kind of says a lot, doesn't it? Like, I think I've played with every other piece of software on the planet, bookkeeping, right? Wave and Exact, and even those niche ones that are just for doctors and stuff like that, Dr. GP and all that. I played with most of them. Never once came across a client wanted me to jump into Ember or anything like that, right? So it kind of tells me that it's not that fleshed out. I'm wild assumption there, but I just don't. I think we've seen them before, haven't we? Where it's so difficult to build something to the level of free agent, because that's your benchmark for me, isn't it? I feel like that's your entry level now. Is what free agent have got such a feature rich product now that building to that is multi years.
It's going to be interesting though, isn't it? That what's really clear with RBS, NatWest, Metal, and Free Agent is Free Agent has got a good development budget to go out and continue developing, to bring in accountants and bookkeepers and small businesses directly into Free Agent, and then push them towards the bank. Like, the Free Agent is their go-to market model, whereas other banks are going, oh, we do all of this, oh, and you get this bit of software for free. Like, the bank is the go-to market option. Like, you sell the bank and you get the software, whereas Free Agent, NatWest and Co stuff, yes, they do that, but from an industry, accounting and bookkeeping industry point of view, what we see is Free Agent is the go-to-market option where you then plug into the bank. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Starling do with that going forwards.
Yeah, it just makes me upset, doesn't it? Because of the what if scenario again with what if QuickBooks had made their bank? Do you know what I mean? Like, if they had got that over the line, it would have been a whole different thing. Because I think that would have forced the competitors. Free Agent wouldn't have needed to, but Xero would have had to follow suit. You'd have imagined, to keep competitive. Like, we would have been a whole different landscape, and it wouldn't have been someone trying to buy Xero. It was Xero trying to figure out, well, which fintech bank should I buy next? Do you know what I mean? Like, and wouldn't be surprised if that's their next move. That I don't know who's available out there or what price point or how deep their pockets are,
and whether they focus on the UK on that, or is it not a big enough market for them, so they go and do this, buy a bank but in America.
I mean, Revolut is mostly outside the UK now, isn't it? I think they've got their license, but can they afford someone like Revolut? I don't know. It'd be difficult, wasn't it? Apparently, Monzo's increased their fee according to Steph as well. So
£9 per month now.
Connect QuickBooks /Xero. Because I couldn't figure out any other like, I was going through the thing because we had a.
I think you get expense cards as well for your teams with that £9 a month.
That's one above.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's another. No, that's even more you have to pay.
Starling aren't
risky.
accepting many risk industries. Yeah, I mean, the problem is Starling sees everything as risky now because anything that's new is risky. So yeah, it's pain. I already done that one. Paul says, have you found a car dealership software with full bookkeeping accountants? Spoken to 4 or 5 clients use, and none are interested in APIs, let alone full FMS.
I mean, there used to be loads, right? That used to be the whole industry of just desktop car dealership ones, but we just heavily modify our QuickBooks license, and because you can do partial exemption, because that's what you're mostly worried about, right? It's partial exemption, and we just heavily modify it and do it from there. But you're right, there's an industry underserved from software, I think.
Definitely. Now, speaking of MTD, HMRC have published some figures. So Aaron's going to bring these figures up quickly. But was it Craig Oval on LinkedIn on Friday was announced basically that HMRC have seen 1.6 thousand, so 1,600 quarter one returns filed so far.
Yeah.
In their beta product. So you've got more figures around this, Aaron. So go on, do divulge.
So, I mean, we covered this on MTD Watch, but we'll just go over it and put some more spin on it. So, of the 7 million taxpayers with income from self-assessment or property within the 23-24, HMRC expects 42% need to comply with MTD for income tax, which I thought was way higher than
42% by the end of 2029 or 42%?
By the end of 2029, I've got the split. So 30% of that would be in 2026, 37, which is 1 million of them in 2027, and 33% of it, which is another 1 million in 2028. So quite nicely split. Is
right. So hats off to HMRC for splitting that out quite nicely.
Yeah.
But why are we implementing a system that's not even affecting the majority?
Well, it wouldn't, though, would it? Like, you think how many people do tax returns? It's mainly because, like one of the biggest one, isn't it? Child tax credits and things like that is like a huge reason for people to have to do tax returns these years, or just being high rate, right?
Well, has the high rate now been scrapped?
Oh, for the need to do a tax return.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point actually. But I just this is where it's going to be really, really frustrating for us as accountants going forward, because we're basically going to put a line down our practice. Are you an MTD client or are you a non-MTD client for it, or whatever we have to call it these days? Like, that is going to be a bit of a nightmare for some time to come, isn't it? Like, that's a frustration.
I think a slight frustration is we've had the 7 million target number dangled in front of the industry for a while now, going, look, out of these 7 million, so many don't use accountants and bookkeepers. There's a huge opportunity here for you, blah, blah, blah. Well, hang on a minute. Only 42% of them are going to be impacted, and that's over the next 3 years. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, we couldn't handle 42% of them all coming to us in one go anyway, but if we're saying 42% are going to be spread over 3 years, and then not all of that 42% are going to come to accountants and bookkeepers, they're going to continue doing it themselves using software through their bank and stuff.
Would you want to know the numbers of that? So 2.9 million is the ones. 1.9 are already represented by accountants and bookkeepers, 65% of them, and 1 million, 35%, are not.
So there's only 1 million taxpayers out there that MTD is actually opening up as a potential market for our industry. And of that 1 million, we don't know how many will actually change a habit of a lifetime and start using professionals.
Well, I don't know how they get this data, because if you're not going to count it, why would you file with software? It's not like America where TurboTax is like.
No, you can go and do your own personal tax return on TaxCalc without having an accountant or bookkeeper.
Okay. So
there's tens of thousands do it. So it's a huge software market for them.
83% don't. 840,000 are not using software at the moment. I mean, that's the bit that HMRC's biggest fear factor, isn't it? Is that 840,000 that are going to kick off. Because the rest of them, yeah, there might be some extra costs here and there, but majority of it they're already paying for something, right? And it will just be,
Yeah.
you know, you'd expect for the majority of them there'll be just an absorption cost that comes with it. It's those 840,000, 83% of them. That's the problem, isn't it? And this is where that software like Ember and stuff surely is going to be the right fit for them, you'd have thought.
Yeah. This opportunity to our industry to grow our businesses is shrinking on a weekly basis. Like,
I'll have you know, there's 840,000 businesses out there.
It's not the 7 million that was the number dangled in front of us 5 years ago.
The software after software after software were generating. Yeah.
840,000, and we're up against. So we're already up against it as an industry because those people have already decided they can do their own tax returns. They don't need our expertise to help them. So this change isn't going to force them to use us. They'll just find a software solution in the form of Ember, Free Agent, QuickBooks Zero, Sage, etc., and do it themselves. This isn't the opportunity that we were sold 5 years ago as an industry, and that government bodies are still banging on about.
I know.
The reality is that it's just more compliance and more headaches for us all. Yes, there will be some opportunity, and yes, there'll be some people that come to us, but if the software is as intuitive as it should be, those people that are competent and confident enough to do their own tax return today are probably savvy enough to understand, oh, that's how I press file in the software, I'll do that.
Yeah. Actually, this is easier than having to do it in the thing. So it's worth my £6 a month, whatever they're going to pay, right? Like that's how they're going to see it, isn't it?
Of that 840, what we don't know is how many use software for their bookkeeping and just don't file through software. How many of that 840,000 do their bookkeeping in QuickBooks, for example, but currently then go and plug those numbers directly into the HMRC website? It's another chunk of the pie gone.
Yeah. And I'd imagine quite a large chunk of that pie, right? We've got some comments coming in. Child benefit. Also, it's child benefit that the requirement for doing tax returns gone. The close of HMRC's own filing system on the 31st of March 2026 will affect some users, but you're right. There isn't much opportunities marketed to us. But again, even that's complicated, right? So we're going to have a section of the client base that can still file through through HMRC, but then we've got a section who now can't because they're MTD. And how do we?
You're earning too much, or you're.
Yeah. But how are we going to easily identify them when we take them on, for example, or all that?
Well, we'll do what I assume HMRC are going to be doing, and that is, so HMRC, for all their flaws, what you have to give them credit for at times is their workflows on their website. So it will ask someone a series of questions, and it will come up with an answer of, okay, you can continue to file your tax return here, or sorry, you need to use software because you've got, for these factors, here's a list of approved software providers or recognized software providers. We're not approved, we're recognized. So to be fair, like when you go and file, if you're an individual person going through the HMRC portal, you don't get presented with the whole self-assessment tax form and all the boxes. It asks you a series of questions so it then can get the information you need to give without overwhelm. It's not efficient for us doing it en masse, but for the taxpayer, that's a good system ultimately. Yes, they've also got help guides that send you in loops. I spent 45 minutes on the phone to them explaining that help guide you told me to go to then takes me to another help guide that then takes me to another help guide that takes me back to the original help guide, and I've still not got my question answered. No, it doesn't. Oh, it does. So, yeah, I told you. But yeah, I imagine that's what they'll do, is You'll go to the HMRC website to try and file your tax return. It will ask a series of questions, and then it will determine whether that allows you to continue filing through the HMRC portal or whether it tells you to go and get MTD IT software and do it through that.
Yeah, it's just going to be a painful experience for us, isn't it? That's the bit that frustrates me. What they should have done is just moved everyone onto this new portal, and I feel like everything would have been happier. Like, it's this split, isn't it? That's the bit where we're going to have to go, right? Okay, I'm going to have this system. We spoke about the other day, didn't we? How, our tax return software, there's going to be 2 different versions of it going forward. Yes, hopefully there is going to be that way where, it can determine what pipe to send it through, and hopefully that's going to be the case. We get the same workflow. But the systems I've kind of been looking at and using in-house and stuff, they just don't have the resources to do that. So they're building a brand new one, and we're just going to have to like it and lump it that there's going to be 2 different parallel versions of that. But then they've got to spend even more money on their software to maintain both platforms. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just becomes a headache.
It's
right?
another service to have built into your practice management tool of, right, you need a self-assessment, or you need an income tax return, and work it. Like Steph said, and reading my mind here, like the pre-qualifying questions before, during a discovery call will have to be tweaked, because as part of that discovery call, when you're trying to ascertain the services that client needs, you're just going to have to tweak the points that you go through to work out which type of tax return are they going to need. So yeah.
And then they'll have these, they've been in the news, aren't they? Rogue accountants at the moment, and bookkeepers who will just go and register everyone as MTD. You know what I mean? Brilliant. So you didn't need to be MTD, but you've been registered. You're now in that portal. I assume,
and you can't be locked out of it.
Yeah, I assume once you're in, you're in. Like, that's it. Like,
that is my understanding. Is once you're in, you don't come out.
You're in MTD for life.
It's a one-way door.
Yeah. So
yeah,
you get there's going to be an accounting firm out there where they've just asked one of the juniors, just move over the set of clients for us, and they just click on all and send them all over. Which actually, is that a bad thing? Then they're all on that same software. It's not fair on the client, though, is it? Once they're in. So but yeah, interesting find, isn't it? Like you said, the numbers are diminishing of opportunity for us. So we shall wait and see with bated breath how the phone calls come in on. Well, it won't be 6th of April, will it? Well, it's going to be that first quarter, isn't it? We'll see how many they come in for that.
Well, the letters have already gone out, haven't they? The first batch of letters went out back in April. I don't know about you, but I've had a single phone call or email off the back of them.
I know we have, but yeah. It's
MTD IT is not the users, the client's concern at the moment. Right, let's move on. A couple of comments there.
Yeah, go for it.
It's 3 years in, 3 years in, 3 years out for MTD. If you don't meet the criteria for 3 consecutive years, you can opt out of quarterly returns. Oh, there we go.
Quarterly, yes, but not MTD submissions, is it? So going forward, you'll still have
annual submission.
Yeah, which is mean you can't use the HMRC portal, right? That's the frustration for the client.
Once you're in, you are into that portal. Cool. Okay, so funding news. Launched at DAS this year, officially, was a new software called Vinyl. So Vinyl is a not a chatbot, sorry. Vinyl is a AI note-taking tool that, like Firefly, Otter, etc., kind of follows you around in your Zoom calls and your Teams calls, records all the meetings, transcribes them, and then summarizes them, creating the ability to then take the task lists and off that call and summaries, etc., and putting them into your practice management if you're using things like Carbon. So they launched officially back at DAS in London, and they announced last week that they've successfully. They launched their beta, yes.
Yeah.
But they announced at DAS that they've successfully raised, they say $2 million Australian dollars, which is a bigger number than pounds. So, but it's about £1 million in funding. So congratulations to Jordan and the team over there. It's great to see that that's getting traction. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's a bloody tough space to get into, and make an impact, because it's a very busy space at the moment. We've got Read AI, Otter, Firefly. There's so many, and then you've got
you've been pushing
the Plauds, the Hydocs, that are all coming out with new hardware, which makes actually because my biggest problem is not all of my calls and meetings are on Zoom and Teams.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have in-person calls, I have phone calls, so I want one tool that covers all consequences and all eventualities, which is why I look at Plaud and I look at Hydoc instead, rather than just a Read or something. Now, Vinyl is going to be perfect for you if all of your meetings are in Teams and stuff, and that's just what you want to record. It's going to be a brilliant tool for you, because it plugs into, or it's starting to plug into, practice management tools in a way that the others just don't. And even if your practice management tool has an open API, you would still have to probably build using Zapier or N8N or something into your note taker, whereas Vinyl's building that link for you, so it's going to be more reliable and more robust. But yeah, hell of a space to get into. I mean, we've seen similar accounting focused softwares start and fail in the past. Like, do you remember Timworks?
Yeah.
That was going to be the accountant's answer to WhatsApp without using WhatsApp. We had Connect4. That was meant to replace Zoom and Teams and everything, and have an accountant-specific platform that does agendas and stuff like that. Yeah, it's always interesting to see a take on a very generalist tool trying to niche into one industry and keep up with the development of the generalist tools
100%.
and the pricing.
I feel like the thing that they've got different though to this is like trying to build a WhatsApp for accountants. It was just friction, wasn't it, from the client's point of view?
Yeah.
That's what failed, really, wasn't it? It was getting your clients to download another app, get connected, blah 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 blah. Like that was always a frustration, wasn't it? Great piece of kit. Great. Yeah,
because
yeah,
what's this weird looking, spammy looking URL I've got to click and use, etc. So yeah, hopefully Vinyl doesn't face those challenges because it's less client focused, like facing, and clients don't have to do anything. But it's also still a market to go against.
100%. But isn't it also like, if you think about it from a from what it's trying to achieve, like realistically, do we need a WhatsApp that's for accountants only?
No.
I mean, other than it was more quote unquote secure, right? What would they bring into the table is what I'm trying to say, right? It sounded like a good idea, but there wasn't much there. At least with Vinyl, what's going to help them is that there is areas where they can make it actually client, accountant and bookkeeper specific, right? Because the thing that I keep coming back to, or that they said at the launch party, was, well, they'll understand the difference between 0 and 0, right? It's not 0 with a Z, it's 0 with an X. Like, they're the bits that if they can absolutely nail, then none of the others can do that. They just then need to make that very, very apparent that this is the reason why that's so important, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
like having those different.
I think they've got a better chance at supporting accountants than, like, there's a reason I don't use Zoom to do my transcriptions, because I don't have every single meeting on Zoom, right? Like, even if I did all of my meetings on Zoom or all of my meetings on Teams, if the other end send me an invite and they're on a different platform, then my transcription tool's failed because it's not on the right platform. So Vinyl is a more comprehensive tool for us from that point of view, because it can plug into any meeting platform, unlike Zoom, who can only do Zoom, and Teams can only do Teams. But they're still up against, because even things like Motion AI, who was built for managing your calendar and to-do lists.
Yeah.
They now do AI transcriptions of meetings as a freebie. Fixer, built for managing your emails, it now does transcription of all your meetings.
Yeah.
Because it then goes, and when it's trying to answer emails, it then uses that database of meeting logs and meeting transcriptions to try and help form a more constructive email and informative email. So not only are they up against otters and reeds and fireflies, they're up against all these other people that are not staying in on their track. They're going into someone else's lane because there's benefits to the main tool by doing it.
So I mean, look, this is tinfoil hat moment, right? And maybe they're not even considering this, but for me, to make me go, okay, I'm interested, is it needs to be more than just the terms and stuff. So zero versus zero, right? Like it needs to be more than just those bits.
You can teach some of the platforms, like Claude. You've got your own dictionary where you can explain things like that, and it sorts it.
Yeah. So for me, I think to make this, and I don't know if they even have the capability to go this far, but you really need it to spot things for you, right? So good example I had with Teams at the moment, Copilot. We're debating internally. I think I spoke about on the show the other day. Like we're debating internally: do we record every internal meeting so that people who aren't there can catch up and all that sort of stuff? And we were going back: is it evasive? Is it not? And everything else. Until this one moment where I wasn't able to make a meeting, and the team were talking about factoring, and they actually didn't know what factoring was. And in my, for me, I thought I taught them what factoring was at. I thought we had that conversation before, but actually no, with those team members who weren't there, they never come across factoring before. They never needed to, right? But Teams was clever enough to go, oh, you need to have a look at this because this is quite critical. 40-minute meeting, whatever it was. There's this one section, and I listened to that section, and then we've put that knowledge gap in. If it can go down that route of, a junior member of staff, for example, is just taking a call from a client, it could go as far as prompting them to get the right information off it. You know what I mean? Like they may never have had a new starter, for example, come up, but these are the questions that we really need to be able to process that. That's where I feel like this has the opportunity to really go into, have we asked enough questions to figure out what their proposal is going to be, for example? What's the turnover? What's the amount of transactions? Blah, 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 and then can it then feed that into that practice management solution into the right place? That to me, and I don't, again, it's all tinfoil hat moment, don't even know if they're even considering this, but that's where I feel like this needs to go to really get people to go, that's why I'm not using Copilot or Claude or whatever it's going to be. I'm using it. I'm using Vinyl because Vinyl is the only one that'll ever be that.
So instead of being reactive and just transcribing and summarizing and then putting those into practice management tools, it needs to be proactive during the call and going, oh, you're looking at offering bookkeeping. You've not asked this question yet, as like a prompt. Yeah.
We don't even know what industry it is yet. So how can we figure out, it's them sort of things, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas it might be that actually we already know what industry is in, like, because it's really obvious by the name, or we've discussed that out of this meeting, or we've researched it out of this meeting. But by it prompting us and going, well, you've not asked what industry it's in. So, and we can just go ignore, or I have, or I know, or something.
Or confirm with the client, we've assumed you're this industry. Or however it needs to be fair. But I feel like that's what it needs to do, right? Like, and then as a growing firm, we know we could put more people in front of clients because they've got that safety blanket, right? Yes, they may not know every single aspect of everything, but they can at least help clients in some ways. If a client rings up and says, "Oh, I'm really struggling about finding what my latest tax code is," right? majority of my team will know exactly where to send them, but not everyone would, right? But if that could quickly
Yeah.
go, oh yeah, if you log into your thing, go here and here, boom, it's that sort of thing where I feel like that's where AI is going to go for us. That's where we want it to go. But
Yeah.
your generalist AI,
if you want a tool that does the answer that question for you of tax code, or I don't know where to get my year-end summary overview or something, plug Fixer in, because Fixer will be able to answer that and send it out and draft it as an email for you. Like, I've had some really wow moments using Fixer where I've gone in it, I've expected it to go, I don't know what to do here. And it's actually gone, right, here's what you do. You need to go here, 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 do this, do that. And it's done. And it's like, bloody hell, that's exactly what I would have told it to do. But yeah, the challenge for me really is always going to be the all-encompassing. Okay, that's why I like HiDoc and I like Plord at the moment, because they do all-encompassing. So HiDoc's got a little device coming out. So they've released one recently, which will let you take a Zoom call or something on your computer or your laptop when you're out and about, but using headphones.
Nice.
So it transcribes it all for very clever. And they've got a mini version of that coming that you can plug into your phone. So you can use headphones again and it will transcribe and stuff. So for me, when I'm looking at this technology and software, I need something that's all encompassing. I want it to be able to be taking phone call, translating my phone calls, my Zoom calls, my in-person meetings.
Yeah.
I want to be able to press it when I'm walking the dog and record a note to myself because a thought has come to me. I don't want to lose it. So yeah, whether Vinyl, Read, AI, Otter AI and stuff can ever venture into all of that and become all encompassing, because I don't want a different tool for every meeting style I have.
Yeah.
Because that becomes really disjointed.
And how long are these going to be viable until OpenAI's new I forget what the company they bought with Johnny Ive, but when that starts producing the hardware, right? Like
next year when
the
that
writing's on the
hardware
wall, isn't it?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Savings account's about to take a hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. But congratulations to them anyway for raising that funding. It's not an easy industry to raise money in at the moment in software.
It shows they've got confidence, right? That whatever they've got on their roadmap that we don't know about, there's something there that people have gone, okay, now I'm interested.
Paul says, is the future of AI note takers evolving into an AI teleprompter? That could be quite cool. I mean, it's whether there's so much reliant on there, right? So can the servers at the other side of the AI tool work at such a pace that it can transcribe, analyze, and prompt while in conversation? That's a big ask. Is your internet connection strong enough to get that information backwards and forwards quick enough as well?
But Google did showcase
delay, and you're out of context then.
But Google did show live transcript, didn't they? They literally, I mean, it's a terrible show. Don't go and watch it. But they did their Pixel event, and one of the only cool bits that I was like, "Oh wow," was their live translation, should I say. So the idea is that you could bring up anyone and just have a natural conversation with them in their language, and it was just going backwards and forwards. If we can,
that requires that's on-device translation, isn't it? So 100%. That requires a device.
Yeah.
So what device are you carrying Otter AI, Vinyl, etc. around on to do that for you? But that's a huge development for Vinyl.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, exactly right. Yeah. But something's on their roadmap. Like, we can only speculate, can't we?
Yeah. Steph says Riverside can do that when recording podcasts, so very possible with software. Oh, I'm not, because we've never done podcasts properly. I mean, 147 episodes in. What we do is we do live streams of video but we ensure we deliver it in such a way that podcasts, it can be then repurposed to a podcast channel. So we don't go, oh, well, what I'm showing you on my screen is, and go, oh yeah, this is also a podcast and you can't see my screen. Like
true.
Amateurs would do. But we've been very, very good at that over the last 147 episodes of making sure that whatever we produce on video works and is viable on the podcast channel if that's where we're intending to repurpose it to. But because we've done that, we've never done Riverside, have we? So
no. But to be fair, StreamYard's caught up, haven't they? Or the features we wanted from Riverside, StreamYard's got. So it's yeah. And if we ask Lizzie to move again, she'll
we could ask her, but we won't be at Accountex Manchester because we'd be dead and cut up and scattered across the UK.
And finally, Johann, you got your wish. You'll have to come on the Free Biz podcast, Johann.
My diary is always open to invites like that.
You finally made it.
Yeah. Right, it is 9:31. It is a bank holiday. It is sunny outside, so I'm going to go sit behind me and do some work. I'm going to continue hiding from the sun.
I get kicked out of this house in 26 minutes, so I suppose I best get going.
You better pack up. I've seen you try to pack up after an event when you're podcasting. That doesn't get done in 26 minutes. Paul says, if Vinyl has access to the client info, it could narrow the search and the impact on the AI. Things like don't forget to ask about the overdue VAT return would be really handy. Yeah. And that's again where it links into the PM tool. So yeah, in theory, as long as it's a live API that it's not pulling information every 4 hours or something, then yeah, definitely. It's
that was one of the things that I know, forget what software it was showing us, but it was that whole idea where it could read your emails and go, oh, by the way, Tom's been asking for this, because that happens in practice, right? Like different people are dealing with different parts of it, right? Any, we're still waiting for your authentication code. Janet's been asking it for the past X amount of time. You know what I mean? Those sort of things, isn't it? Where that could be really, really powerful.
Really helpful. Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much to everybody that's joined us for the bank holiday August episode of 147. We're getting closer to the 150 mark. We need to sit down and work out what Monday that sits on and what we're going to do to celebrate. But we 150 episodes delivered over 151 weeks. Or was it 152 weeks? 51. We've only missed 1 week, 150 weeks. That's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Wow. Cool. Right. We will leave you all to enjoy the rest of your bank holidays, guys, and we'll see you all here same time next week for 148.
Cheer, everyone. Bye.
Good night.